So looky there, do you see Mr. Bruin? Mr. Bruin looking at me. I was just going to do some flagging. There he goes. Or she. And you know, I think I'm going to wait. Yeah, I'm all alone out here, so. Not too scared. So I don't hear anything. I don't see anything. So this is at the log landing. They've obviously just started cutting up there. So it's after work on a Friday afternoon. The logging crew's gone. I was gonna step in the woods right there. I mean right there. And as I was putting on my boots, out from the meadow over here comes bounding a teenage deer, little Bambi, with spots still, but just barely. So it was like maybe in our age the equivalent of 8 to 10 years old. And it comes bounding, boing, 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 and then heads down that way. I'm standing on their cat, actually, so I can get a little elevated point of view here. And so that's, you know, and it paid zero attention to me. Absolutely zero. Oh, and there is Mama over there. Let's see if I can zoom in. I know it's annoying. Yeah, you may not be able to really see her over there at the edge of the woods. She's just stepping out. Okay. Such a sophisticated camera. Maybe she'll come out here. She's not too worried, although I'm sure she's looking for her little baby. So anyway, that was odd. You know, normally they're just scared as can be. So she's over there looking at me. Yeah, I was trying to get a whiff of, what am I smoking? I'm smoking something that Doug gave me. What did he call that? Now I can't remember. In an old estate pipe, rusticated, called a century-old imported briar. I'm going to guess from the 50s, maybe the 60s. Anyway, there she is. So Mr. Bruin came out of the woods, stood up, and was just looking me over. Over there. Could have been Miss Bruin, Mrs. Bruin. So, and the bear was getting closer. He was coming closer. I was curious. I'm going to call him he, just for friends. So I yelled at it. No response, except maybe even to move a little closer. And the previous logging contractor on the next piece over that I originally thought was going to log this piece and didn't. He said his dog was down on my property here barking, so he came down to get it, remarked how wet it was. That tells you something. But he said he saw all kinds of bear sign, and a big bear at that. So anyway, I need to get some kind of carry system for Mr. Glock, whether it's over the shoulder, inside the waistband. I wear loose enough pants that inside the waistband would be fine. But it's a big gun. It's kind of their longest barrel, of course. So anyway, I have hardly shot this gun. This is a new to me gun. It's used, but in good shape. It's a Gen 4. So I yelled at it. I growled at it. Maybe that's the wrong thing to do. I mean, as I think I've read that, where they'll feel competitive. But anyway, I lobbed a couple 9mm rounds over its head and it took off. But that is exactly the place I was going to go in the woods and start flagging. So thank you, Mr. Bruin, for showing your hairy face now while I'm out here. And I wasn't going to take the Glock with me either because, I don't have a way to carry it efficiently. So, okay, well, that'll have to wait. That flagging will have to wait. Huh. We have had bears on other pieces, and I talked to one of our fisheries biologists today that was out doing stream surveys, and the salmon are running, and he ran into a couple bears. So they're definitely active and out. Apparently late afternoon is when they prefer to do their eating. So maybe morning would be the way to do this. Black bears. It's not like the grizzlies or anything. So, but still, people get mauled occasionally by black bears. Interesting. Well, I knew it was here. So it has shown its hairy little face. Hairy big face. Certainly as big as mine. So just finishing up my pipe here. Getting kind of dark. So I went out in the meadow there, and this morning there was a survey crew out flagging, and they they really went through there, whacked the trail through there between my contentious neighbor and myself. So I wanted them to do it, even though it cost me money, because, it's basically uncontestable. And we'll stand up in a court of law. So rather than me running that line, harvesting, and then him, So, yeah, there have been some issues with him. So the first 4 shots I ever fired out of that Glock were to scare a bear away. Really. But I'll tell you what, before I've kind of had this G.I. Joe in the jungle mentality of, hey, I've got a big machete here, I've got pepper spray, I'm good. That bear was not afraid of me. Nope. So that it came out from the woods right where I was going to go in the woods by myself. No logging crew out here. They'd already gone home for the day. I grew up around guns. My dad was a big hunter. We'd go to eastern Colorado, western Nebraska, hunt pheasants, doves, and I loved those adventures. That's what they were, was an adventure when I was a kid. But I loved the guns. They're fun. And the whole thing was just fun, except killing stuff. Ugh, I just didn't like that. So what I would do is they needed somebody, they would set out across a field hunting, and they would need somebody to drive the car up and meet them. Well, that was my job. So I got to drive when I was like 13, 14 on those country roads. That was really fun. So I just took in the whole experience and had a great time. But I never, early on, I realized I didn't like to kill anything. So, but I'll tell you that pistol, that works pretty darn good. You know what? It really does. So, I'm probably a convert. I've had a concealed carry for about 10 years, and I just never used it. We had a real bear problem in the woods where I work. So the forester and I both got concealed carry permits. Neither of us ever got a gun. So I was coming home from the east side earlier this week and stopped at Cabela's, and they have a nice used section. So I picked up that little Glock 34, thinking, I wanted to do a little planking and target practice and so forth. I think that might be my companion. Of course, it can always be used against you. There's a lot of issues. Oh my gosh. So, anyway, it was very effective this evening as a deterrent. I didn't want to hurt the bear. I just wanted to scare it off. It was awfully interested, and it was very unafraid. So, and it was big. I'm going to guess, when it stood up, it was as tall as I was anyway. And, girthy. So it was probably 275, 300, maybe more than that. And the salmon are running now. And that's a salmon-bearing stream in the woods, so. And our water resource manager has been in the woods quite a bit. His game cameras have captured a number of bears out there. He's always alone. That worries me. I gave him one of those Pepper Blaster 2s from Kimber. But, boy, that's good only if it's right next to you and close. And there isn't a whole lot of deterrent there. I carry an air horn, make loud noise. That's supposed to break a cougar's hunt concentration, perhaps. It's recommended anyway. But I'll tell you, a little pistol probably would do the same thing. So, yeah, that's kind of where I'm headed, I guess. Because I'm just out in the woods a lot, and I'm by myself nearly all the time. So, interesting. Now I have to get a effective carry methodology going. Or get a smaller pistol. That might be a solution too. And something in stainless. I don't think that Glock is stainless, and that would be a good thing because it's so well around here. And then when I'm out in the woods, I'm working up a lather and sweating like a horse. So gun could really take a beating. Anyway, it's food for thought. The first 4 shots I ever fired out of that pistol, and out of kind of any gun in 20 years. Well, that's not quite true. Okay. up a shotgun too. But boy, that's a big, heavy 8-pound thing. It would be quite cumbersome, I think. But that would probably be the most effective of all. Although only 5 shots. The Glock has, 17 plus 1, 16 plus 1 in each magazine. So that's a nice thing about that. And plus P ammo is probably pretty potent, probably potent enough. I don't know. There's all the people who say, "Oh no, only a 45 or a 50 caliber." I was surprised at how soft shooting that Glock was. Not a lot of recoil. It's the long barrel, so that probably helps. I think it'll be fun for practice shooting. Anyway. Welcome to the Wild West. Yeah. The Wild North.